remember when I made this video saying combat sports games are about to take over? Boy, was I wrong. This whole UFC 5 versus Undisputed debate is literally the stupidest thing ever, in my opinion. I talked to Darkside, shout out to Darkside. He's another creator who makes UFC 5 Undisputed boxing content. And we had a discussion, and this is the perfect analogy. Garbage is this nasty, funky, it stink, you want it out of your house, right? And then trash is literally all those things, but with the disguise glasses on, you know, with the eyebrows and the big nose and the mustache. That's literally what it is. That's literally UFC 5 versus Undisputed. I dislike the convo of, it's actually a better boxing game than Undisputed, but wait, Undisputed actually has better food. Now, before Undisputed, honestly, I feel like during that beta period was the best combat sports game by far. Like, it wasn't even close. That beta, the beta 1 and beta 2 combined, in like the first 2 months early access, bro, that shit was amazing. Not even, it wasn't amazing, but it was an extremely great starting point that we have not seen in a long time in the combat sports community, bro. Angles, not being on that 2D plane to where the motherfucking AI or the character that you're playing tracks you every time, everywhere you go. Small steps, the jab actually being effective, inside work actually doing something. The jab had stopping power, you could get jab knockdowns with jabs, and it was just this crazy phenomenon that just took over the combat sports world. Then you look at it now, and it's just like, what happened between then and right now? It ain't looking so good. Every redeeming quality about it just kind of faded away, even during the testing process. If you don't know, I am a part of the testing game testing process, that is, you know, just giving game feedback. There are literally test builds that I've played that are better than the current game. Caleb, you know how everybody like hates Caleb Plant in the test build? Caleb Plant was 100 times better than what he is now. And decisions like that just actually baffle me, because I've heard the same thing about UFC 5, because UFC 5 is just frustrated, because unlike Undisputed, while Undisputed is trash, it's the first game, I get both sides of that argument, but UFC 5 has no excuse. It is literally the 5th game. We've been getting UFC 5 games for what, 11 years now? We're in 2025, excuse me, and we've been getting these games since what, 2014? Like, they don't really have an excuse. From UFC 1 to 5, they only hit for what, 1 for 5. UFC 3 is it is the best MMA game that we've gotten in the past 11 years. Straight up, it is. UFC 3 is here, and every other game is at the bottom. Just facts. Speaking of UFC 3, look at the jump from 3 to 5. 3 was just this great base, like Undisputed did with the betas, you know, just saying. It was this great base, and then going into 4, we're like, okay, we're gonna get this. And then my fucking goodness, was 4 terrible. But then, for some reason, they dropped the trailer that we all, you know, hearing from other people saying, yeah, I'm telling y'all better watch out. Hearing that just created excitement. Then we get 5, and it's just like, it's the same shit, if not worse.
Pre-order is already motherfucking pre-order.
On his injury until the doctor has no choice but to stop.
Pause it. That was UFC 4. Block breaking was still trash. Punch tracking still wasn't good. The submissions, oh my, the submissions are probably more spam than this current iteration of the game than it was in UFC 4. Submission system sucks. It sucked. Now on paper, it was a good idea. You know, having seamless transitions to where you don't have a mini game anymore, kind of like the old days, you know, the UFC 3s, the Undisputed 3s, the Undisputed 2010s, that no more mini games in it. It's completely seamless, almost to make it feel like a simulation, like you're watching an actual fight. But the problem with that was they completely fucked it. Of course, you know, that's the EA way. Added something called the struggle mechanic, which drained your opponent's stamina. Yes, I am not lying. It drained your opponent's stamina to get it to 0, to the effect to where once they get it to 0, you can no longer defend the submit. You can't deny, you can't do nothing. Just baffles me. I'm not done with Undisputed. I don't think, oh, this is gonna be UFC. No, Undisputed gonna get this. I'm gonna get it in the ass too. Pause. Because this debate is just fucking stupid. Undisputed has the same problem. The Undisputed's problems What frustrates, and I think everyone agree, let me know down below in the comment section if you do agree, what makes Undisputed so frustrating is that 90% of the problems are fixed. Straight up, they are fixable. Now the punch animations, listen, you can't, that's gonna take a whole new rework, but everything else for the most part is fixable. So I don't understand why it's just not, you know, hitting the nail on the head. And it's the same thing for UFC 5. They're like, the solution to some of their problems is fucking baffling to me. So submissions were OP in UFC 4. So what you decided is to create a whole new submission system and made it just as cheesy. Like what? Why? Like, I don't get the point. Why was there a submission? What is the point of submission offense and defense if you're just gonna have a submission bar anyway? Let it play out to the stats. And with these combat sports games, I feel like why they haven't taken off and why I thought they were gonna take off is they were gonna stop catering to the casual audience fully. If you ask anyone who plays UFC 5 or Undisputed casually, they're gonna tell you, you're gonna get a lot of people that say they like the game, they think the game is good, because they're not actually playing the game every day. They're not playing online every day. They're not running into cheese. They're casually playing, having their fun, and then they get off straight up. So what these companies look at, they're like, okay, and a lot of those people are buying our games. Let's just cater to them because they're buying the games anyway. The hardcore fans, fuck them. They gonna buy it anyway. So listen, it's the only game on the motherfucking market. Why they not gonna buy it? And there you have a problem of this endless cycle to where whatever they put out, people are gonna buy it. And it's just so frustrating me because I've talked to another content creator, King Juice, and I don't want to, you know, go into detail with what he said. That's his story to tell. I know Juice don't be like when I do this. I'm gonna let him tell it. But the simple explanation of him talking about this was that if they were to make completely sim games, people will still gravitate towards them, and I 1000% agree. Going back to the Undisputed beta, the Undisputed beta was simulation. It was more simulation than arcade, and people loved it. Another good example would be Marvel Rivals. Now I know it's like off the rails, but let me explain. Marvel Rivals is a shooter. It's a free game. It is a third-person shooter, kind of like Overwatch, Valorant, that sort of thing, right? And it has this conglomerate with Marvel to where it's all these popular characters you gotta pay for, yada yada yada. But not every character is just pick up and play. You actually have to learn some of these characters, like Spider-Man, Hella, Magic. And you look at that and it makes more people get on because they're grinding for something. They're playing for something. I want to actually get better at this game, better with this character, and possibly become top 500 in the world. And kind of with combat sports games, that's kind of our edge with these combat sports games, is the competitive nature of it. It's combat sport. It's gonna be competitive. And lastly, speaking on this, then while we're on the topic of you know, catering down to the casual audience, the tutorials that these games give out are fucking terrible. Let's keep it a bean. Now, I can't think off the top of my head how you pronounce it or how you say it, but there's a creator by the name of Yawkly. He creates UFC 5 tutorials. If you remember the series that I did, the UFC 5 detail series where I broke down certain clips and how to do things and things like that, he does that, but in a way more detailed way with like these scenarios and just like info, and it's just super detailed. Go subscribe to him and go check out the channel if you haven't seen it already. And I've watched pretty much every one, and it's just amazing how he can do that, but the motherfuckers who make these games can't do it. Why are us as the consumers, the content creators, solely dependent on telling people things about the game that they should be knowing, that the makers of the game should be telling us? I'm gonna continue to touch on it. The Will Kinsler, the shit is just stupid. Stop it. It's stupid. Overall, man, these combat sports games are never gonna take off. They're never gonna take over. They're never gonna get good unless they actually drop their nuts and say, we're gonna make a good game. We're gonna stick to our guns. We're not gonna cater to all these people. We're gonna make the game that people will love, that we know people will love, and we'll just blow up into this phenomenon. It's just stupid. Both games suck. Both games need to be fixed. Both games need to be better. We do not need to be talking about sequels until both games get better. But I'm gonna let you know right now. I have the reason why more people have a little faith in UFC 5, myself included, a little faith in Undisputed, not UFC 5, because it's their first game. So potentially they can fix this one, get back on the right float, and then, you know, take that momentum into the next game. With UFC 5, we've had 11 years. We've had 5 games. It's hard for anybody to say, just wait, it's gonna, no. Me personally, I can't fucking do it. I can't. I hope UFC 6 is good. I hope Fight Night is good. I hope Undisputed gets better. I hope Undisputed 2 is good. I hope these games are good. But at this point, it just looks like we're just gonna have to have fun with what we have. That's what it is. Just have fun with these games. Because they're not just gonna be these complete sim games that we want, that I want, that y'all want. It's just never gonna happen, man. Y'all let me know down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about it? Do you like simulation game? Do you like the arcade? Do you like the mix? What are your opinions on UFC 5, Undisputed, and combat sports games in general? As always, my comment section is the discussion forum, so let's talk about it. Agree to disagree, y'all. Please, like and subscribe. Share if you do. Join the fellow, join the game. It's JMMA. Do something productive with your day, beating, hear me.